The River Caro has always been more than just water. It's the lifeblood of this region, weaving its way through dense forests and open fields, shaping not only the land but also the very history and culture of the people who live here. For generations, the river has been a silent witness to the unfolding story of this place, connecting villages and communities along its banks. For centuries, the Caro has watered crops that fed entire towns, sheltered countless species of wildlife, and watched as civilizations rose, flourished, and sometimes faded away. Its banks have seen ancient rituals, bustling markets, and quiet moments of reflection. The river has always been a source of life, inspiration, and mystery. Its gentle murmur has been the soundtrack to our lives, a constant presence that soothes and sustains. But rivers, as eternal as they may seem, are vulnerable to the changes brought by time and human hands. The Caro faced a growing threat: the aging Ashton Dam, a structure once built to harness the river's power, now showing signs of dangerous decay. Engineers warned of hidden weaknesses deep within the dam's structure, and the risk of catastrophic failure loomed over the communities living downstream, casting a shadow of fear and uncertainty. After much debate and concern, a difficult decision was made: to drain the River Caro for the first time in its long history, a move that would change the landscape and the lives of those who depended on it. On a cool spring morning, as mist curled above the water, the process began. It was a choice made to protect lives, but it also meant silencing the river's song, a sound that had echoed for centuries. The government launched a massive project to drain the river, exposing its ancient bed to the sun and air for the first time in living memory. The scale of the operation was immense, involving teams of workers and heavy machinery. As the water receded, the river's deepest secrets, hidden for centuries beneath the surface, would soon be revealed to the world. No one could have imagined what would emerge from the thick, sticky mud. The riverbed became a place of discovery, where every step uncovered something unexpected. The Caro, a living museum, was about to show us the stories it had hidden for centuries, stories of people, animals, and events long forgotten. Its waters would recede, and for the first time, the valley would hold its breath, waiting to see what secrets the river had kept safe beneath its surface. What would we find beneath the surface? The answer, as we would soon discover, would change our understanding of the river and ourselves forever. Draining the Caro was a feat of engineering, slow, methodical, and precise. It was a project that demanded patience, expertise, and unwavering attention to detail. Every step was carefully planned, every movement calculated to avoid disaster. Giant pumps humming day and night diverted water through temporary channels, lowering the river inch by inch. The process was relentless, a steady transformation that changed the landscape with each passing day. The goal was clear: protect aquatic life and minimize ecological shock. Teams of conservationists worked alongside engineers, rescuing stranded fish and monitoring water quality to ensure the river's delicate balance was preserved. As weeks passed, the river shrank, revealing a landscape unseen for a century. The water retreated, exposing secrets long hidden beneath its surface. The old stone bridge now towered above a muddy plain, and the familiar river became a surreal world of silt and debris. What was once a flowing artery of life was now a strange, silent expanse. The air changed, carrying the scent of exposed earth. It was a smell both ancient and new, a reminder of the river's power and the secrets it had kept. The riverbed was chaotic: rocks, fallen trees, and deep pools scattered across the mud. Nature's debris told stories of floods, storms, and the relentless passage of time. For archaeologists and scientists, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The chance to explore a world untouched for generations was both thrilling and daunting. They stepped into a world sealed off since the dam's construction, treading carefully on ground that had not seen sunlight in decades. Maps and theories in hand, they prepared for the unknown. Every step forward was a step into history, a chance to uncover the river's hidden past. As the last water drained away, the Caro's secrets were finally within reach. The riverbed, once inaccessible, now beckoned with the promise of discovery. The stage was set for discoveries that would rewrite history. Every artifact, every layer of mud, held clues to a forgotten era. The river's silence was filled with anticipation. It was as if the land itself was holding its breath, waiting for its stories to be told. What stories would the mud reveal? What secrets had the Caro kept hidden beneath its waters, waiting for this deliberate drought to bring them to light? The first teams moved cautiously onto the exposed riverbed, boots sinking into deep mud. Early finds were humble old bottles, pottery shards, and a remarkably preserved horse-drawn cart. Each object told a story, forgotten remnants of daily life along the Caro, a child's shoe, a rusted pocket watch, clay pipes, clues to the region's social history. The most striking find, a lost cobbled road, once a vital path before the dam. Nearby, the stone foundations of a ferryman's cottage emerged from the silt. The riverbed became a time capsule, layers of history stacked atop one another. Dozens of rusted cars from the mid-1900s surfaced, relics of a different era. The teams realized they weren't just excavating a river, they were unearthing a century of lost moments. The Caro had preserved the debris of human life, waiting for this moment. In a slower, quieter section of the riverbed, the discoveries took on a more somber tone, as if the water itself was holding its breath in remembrance. Corroded rifles, battered pistols, and the unmistakable shape of a Bren machine gun slowly emerged from the mud, silent witnesses to the chaos and violence of World War II, now reclaimed by the earth and water. Historians and archaeologists worked together to piece together the story behind these relics. Through careful research and old photographs, they discovered that this stretch of river was once the site of a bustling military base. Soldiers, facing the uncertainty of war, had dumped their equipment into the river, perhaps in haste or as part of a desperate retreat. The sheer quantity of discarded weapons and gear suggested something more than routine disposal. It hinted at a hurried evacuation, or perhaps a deliberate purge at the war's end, as troops prepared to move on and leave the past behind. Among the most poignant discoveries was a rusted footlocker. Inside, carefully preserved by the mud, were a soldier's personal effects: faded photographs, handwritten letters, a delicate locket, and a diary dated just before D-Day. These items offered a deeply personal glimpse into the lives and hopes of those who served. These artifacts were more than just objects. They were a direct link to the sacrifices, dreams, and fears of a generation shaped by conflict. For decades, the river had guarded not just forgotten objects, but the memories and stories of those who once walked its banks, fought, and hoped for peace. As the artifacts were brought to light, the community felt a renewed connection to its past, a sense of shared history and gratitude for those who came before. Each weapon, each letter, and each photograph was carefully preserved for display, ensuring that the stories of courage, loss, and resilience would not be forgotten by future generations. The Caro's silent waters had long hidden both tragedy and heroism beneath their surface, keeping secrets until the time was right to reveal them. Now, with the community's help, those stories would finally be told, shared, and remembered. The river's history, it turned out, was far deeper and more profound than anyone had ever imagined, flowing quietly through time and memory. Just as the teams thought they'd seen it all, a discovery pushed the region's history back thousands of years. In a deep channel, enormous bones protruded from the clay, woolly mammoth remains. The skeleton was nearly complete, preserved by the river's mud for over 10,000 years. Alongside it, fossilized plants and pollen revealed an ancient tundra landscape. Even more astonishing, stone tools nearby, evidence of early humans who likely hunted the mammoth. This was a prehistoric snapshot, a mammoth hunt frozen in time. The Caro had been a vital resource for both animals and people since the Ice Age. The find rewrote the region's earliest chapter, proving humans settled here far earlier than believed. The river was not just a witness to history, it was a participant. Its secrets spanned millennia, from mammoths to modern times. The discovery was of international importance. The Caro's oldest secret had finally surfaced. Beyond grand discoveries, the riverbed revealed intimate stories of daily life. Ancient fish traps, some 1,000 years old, showed how people relied on the Caro for food. The lost village of Riverbend reappeared, stone foundations, garden walls, and the ghostly remains of a church. Descendants of Riverbend's families walked the ruins, connecting with their roots in a way they'd never imagined. The riverbed also exposed sunken boats, messages in bottles, and lost wedding rings, fragments of joy, loss, and accident. Each object was a piece of someone's story, preserved by the river. For a brief time, history came alive, and the past felt close enough to touch. The Caro had gathered these moments, keeping them safe until now. The river's embrace was both gentle and unyielding. Draining the Caro had ecological consequences despite careful planning. Biologists rushed to rescue fish, including protected salmon and trout, from shrinking pools. The exposed riverbed revealed decades of hidden pollution, heavy metals and chemicals from upstream industry. Scientists mapped contamination, using the opportunity to plan for remediation. Yet nature's resilience was remarkable. Within weeks, green plants sprouted in the mud and birds flocked to feast on exposed creatures. The riverbed became a temporary haven for wildlife. Restoration would take years, but the data gathered would guide future conservation. The draining provided an invaluable ecological baseline. The Caro's scars were visible, but so was its capacity for renewal. The river's future would be shaped by what was learned in its absence. For the local community, the draining of the Caro was both loss and revelation. At first, anxiety gripped the town. Businesses suffered, and the river's absence was deeply felt, but as discoveries made headlines, pride and fascination replaced worry. Tourists, journalists, and historians flocked to witness the unfolding story. The town became a hub of activity, with volunteers helping scientists and schools organizing field trips. The shared experience fostered a powerful sense of unity. As the project neared its end, anticipation mixed with nostalgia. The river would soon return, but the community's relationship with it had changed forever. The Caro was now seen as a place of deep history and wonder. Its stories would be remembered long after the waters flowed again. The draining of the Caro has lasting implications for history, science, and policy. Discoveries like the mammoth and ancient tools have rewritten the region's timeline. The project set a new standard for combining engineering, archaeology, and environmental science. Future infrastructure projects will now require similar historical and ecological assessments. The exposure of hidden pollution sparked a commitment to river cleanup and stricter regulations. The Caro's story is a lesson in stewardship. Progress must not erase the past. The river's temporary exposure revealed the interconnectedness of nature, history, and community. As the waters return, the Caro will keep its secrets once more. But we know now to look beneath the surface. The most profound stories are waiting in the depths, ready to be discovered.